604 Talk 1073 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, off and running. Brian here with you. JP producing, coming to you live from the 180 Pros studio. 180 Pros, not your IT provider, your IT partner. We're starting off your Friday at 51 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. A lot of ground to cover today. Thrive tomorrow. We've got Texas now has primacy. Look out. We've got high school football playoffs starting up. We got Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3 is working its way through. We got a lot of ground to cover. Let's get after it. Top stories and trending.
Number 5.
So traffic was a nightmare yesterday, right? Yesterday morning. Part of that was because Old Hammond Highway was shut down. Here's why. The 12,000 block of Old Hammond, this is just east of Sherwood Forest, was closed as a crime scene. 23-year-old Stacy Charles was killed, stabbed to death. Stephen Heinrich Jr. is the suspect in the murder. Allegedly, Heinrich, after stabbing Charles, rammed into her vehicle repeatedly, then attempted to flee, got in a head-on collision on Old Hammond Highway. Then, dude lit himself on fire. Police were able to extinguish the fire and arrest Heinrich, who, by the way, was out on bond for battery of a dating partner just last week.
Number 4.
Right? We've got some insurance rates dropping. Commissioner Tim Temple has approved all state North American insurance companies filing for a 7.6% rate decrease for its 10,746 personal auto policy holders in the state. Temple also approved Encompass Insurance Company of America's National General Program filing for a 15% decrease that impacts the 1,516 personal auto policy holders.
Number 3.
A panel of judges with the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that a trial court judge abused their discretion when they decided members of the public could not be in the courtroom when a victim testifies in the upcoming trial against Melanie Curtin. The panel said the court did not have a, quote, substantial reason for excluding the public from the courtroom during the adult victim's testimony. We talked about this in Legally Served with attorney Franz Borghardt, who said basically the same thing.
Number 2.
LSU confirmed the start date for their new university president and executive vice president yesterday. According to the school, Wade Roos and vice president James T. Dalton will have their first day Monday. This coming Monday.
Number 1.
No worries. This coming Monday, November 17th. A vote to create a Delmont Economic Development District was deferred by the East Baton Rouge Metro Council at their meeting Wednesday night. There were some on hand who were against the additional tax, some who wanted to see the development moving on. We had Councilwoman Lori White Adams on yesterday, who talked about how there was just some questions to be answered before they could move forward with an actual vote. What you got, JP?
Well, airline disruptions continued across the U.S. with over 1,000 flights canceled on Thursday. Yeah. It could take up to a week for air travel to return to normal operations following the shutdown.
Some are actually saying as much as Thanksgiving, because as things pick back up again, as they open back up again, more people are going to be traveling, so it ought to slow it back down again.
Yeah, unfortunately. So it might be a while where you get on a flight. Well, the IRS is doing something nice for a change. Starting in 2026, contributions to your 401k will increase by $1,000 to a limit of $24,500. And even more money can be socked away if you meet certain age thresholds.
Okay, let's go. I'm always here for that. I'm always here for, my money being, what's the word? Mine.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So let's see what we got here. So I guess 50 and over, I guess they would have a better chance at seeing that, right?
Is that what the age threshold
is?
Like
it. Yeah, the catch-up contribution
limit. Sweet. I have less than 365 days to go.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. You may see a big increase in that. Vampire Diaries star Ian Somerhalder made a visit to Lafayette yesterday promoting his bourbon brand. Brothers Bond is the
I have bourbon. Not had Brothers Bond. I have to because he is my brother.
Really?
Yes, he is. Ian Somerhalder
please.
He is not unlike Cade Anderson or Scotty Ballard. He is a member of the Brotherhood, man. Ian Somerhalder is a class of 98 grad from St. Paul's.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, old Vampire Diaries from Covington.
So those ties,
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So that would have made him a freshman my senior year. I did not know him. If I'm being completely honest, yes. If he was class of '98, he would have been freshman my senior year. So.
That's still awesome, though,
but
right? Those ties.
But I want to try the bourbon though. I mean, well, it looks good.
It looks like
good.
Every other
bourbon out there.
looks good.
Oh,
looks great. Look, if you haven't seen it,
look at it.
You got
brown and it's in a glass.
You gotta see it. And by looking good, I mean people look like they're really enjoying. From the branding to the, just
we're not even out of the first segment
brown
and we're done, dude.
Color. It's
all right. Guest rundown for you today. We're actually a step away from the normal news cycle in the first hour. We've got we're talking the Rockin' 1000 is coming to New Orleans. And I want to get this guy's last name right here. Let me make sure I've got his last name right because his first name is Fabio. We've got Walt Leger and Fabio Zavagnini coming on with us at 6:35 to talk about the Rockin' 1000. This is a pretty cool thing they've got going on down in New Orleans, involving literally 1,000 musicians. 7 o'clock hour, Whitney, Hoffman, Sayal from the Downtown Development District. Going to talk a little bit about Planned Baton Rouge Phase 3. Going to talk a little bit about how, why is it anytime the downtown comes up, people think that like all attention is always paid to downtown. Well, not really. We'll talk with Whitney about that at 7:15, 7:35. Tommy Faucheux is with the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association. It was announced day before yesterday. The EPA made the announcement. Texas has primacy. So all the Chicken Littles that are scared of carbon capture, you don't have to worry about it anymore. All those jobs, all those dollars, it'll go right next door. We'll talk with Tommy about why Louisiana should get back in the game. 8:15, Metro Councilman Dwight Hudson stopping by. We're going to talk budget right there, and we're going to wrap up with the folks from Dearman's Diner, a little Foodie Friday. Nothing like some burgers for breakfast on a Friday. All that's coming your way. Before we take our first break, I want to remind you about the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is the website, FlyBTR.com. Love the convenience, love the ease, love having a top-notch airport in our own backyard. Love being able to take advantage of getting where I need to go from Baton Rouge. By the way, just as kind of a heads up, Baton Rouge has not been immune from the cancellations that we've seen nationwide. For example, there's a daily flight to Atlanta in the morning that they've had to cancel. That one has been on the list. I'm sorry, a daily flight coming in from Atlanta in the morning. The daily flight to Atlanta, actually, if I'm not mistaken, the first flight to Atlanta has already left this morning. But the one coming in from Atlanta that lands at about 9 o'clock, it's subject to what the rest of the world is subject to. It's part of being connected to the rest of the world. But there's so many great options at flybtr.com, wherever it is you're going. Take into account your entire flying experience. Take into account driving an hour down the road versus being in your own backyard, paying for parking for however long you're gone versus literally Ubering to the airport. And then there's the TSA aspect of this, where it's a downright pleasurable experience here in Baton Rouge. flybtr.com. All right. Let me get you a couple LSU highlights right quick. You're on my list, right? You got the highlights? Oh man. Oh, what are the Frank Wilson cuts? There's two of them in the folder. What are they titled? Yep. Okay. Oh, I'm so congested this morning. Highlights. Let's go with 1.2. Sutton 3-pointer. 2.1. 2.5. Oh, man. 616 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. LSU men's basketball was at it last night in the Maravich Assembly Center, taking on Florida International. FIU actually kept it kind of tight in the first half. It was 43-38 at half. LSU had the lead before LSU opened it up in the second half on their way to a 98-81 victory. Markel Sutton and Mike Nwoko led the way for the Tigers with 19 points apiece. Max McKinnon had 17. DJ Thomas had 15. Jalen Reed had 10. Give you a couple of highlights here. LSU didn't exactly light it up from beyond the three-point arc, but I mean, they're 4 of 17 as a team. But Markel Sutton, within those 4 of 17, Markel Sutton was 3 of them as he was 3 of 5.
By Tumba. FIU is 0 of 3 from behind the arc. LSU up 6-4 with the ball. Thomas dribbles in, will kick it into the corner for a 3, and it is good by Markel Sutton.
Markel got us off to a good start against UNO, hitting a couple of threes early and hit a big one right there.
One of the things, so I produced a game last night for the LSU Sports Radio Network. That was, of course, Patrick Wright and John Brady on the call. One of the things that I was really liking is the role that Jalen Reed is developing within this team. It's not the Jalen Reed of old, and he is like kind of plug and play, doing very well. Reed was 5 of 6 to the floor, including flushing this one in the second half.
So DJ Thomas will inbound. Looking. Finally to McKinnon, right wing. Shot fake on a 3. Dribbles in. Still can't shoot it, but enters it to Reed with a wide open flush. And LSU scores for the first time, and they're back up 5.
That was a deliberate inbounds play that McKinnon caught it, but he noticed, the LSU man wide open on the post.
And with a wide open Jalen Reed, you're going to end up with points. One of my favorite things about this team is having DJ Thomas as your point guard. Thomas had 6 assists on the night last night to go along with his 15 points. When the Tigers are in transition, when they're running the floor, things just feel a lot more comfortable. Having someone who can control the ball and get it where it needs to be. For example, on this run out to Max McKinnon.
Finally, LSU out of there with it. Sutton got it. Thomas up ahead to McKinnon. He will lay it in. And it's 82-62. McKinnon with 13. Once LSU finally got it out of there, they had numbers and got the easy bucket.
All right, that was way better video than it was audio. I can tell you that. 98-81 was the final score. Tigers moved to 3-0 on the season. They will have the weekend off before getting back at it. I believe on Tuesday they will host Alcorn State and then host Omaha on the 21st. All right, not enough time to hit football right here. Let's push that back to our next segment as LSU's taking on Arkansas tomorrow morning. We'll tap into that in just a little bit. Right now, though, let's get you to the Fox Business Report on Talk 107.3. Oh, shoot, this is me. All right, checking out your drive. I-12 westbound coming into town is really the only hot spot on the interstates to start things off this morning, and it's really not that bad. As you get close to O'Neill, you're going to find some slowdowns, but it's in between the Amite River Bridge and O'Neill. After that, it picks right back up again for the remainder of your drive into downtown. Meanwhile, I-10 westbound, as normal, is looking smooth as can be coming in from Ascension Parish. Same thing with 10 eastbound coming in from West Baton Rouge Parish, and 110 is wide open as well. Surface streets, be on the lookout for an accident. I'm sorry, just some congestion. Airline at Bluebonnet, there's some minor congestion right there that's being worked out. There's also an accident with injury from about 10 minutes ago. This is Port Hudson Plains Road up by Sutter Road that's being worked by the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. .624 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Don't forget playoff football coming your way. We're going to talk a lot more about playoff football at the end of this hour. I'm sorry, at the end of next hour. But there are a ton of teams from the Capital Region that are doing battle in the postseason. We'll have a full list for you at the end of the 7 o'clock hour. Who's got who this week, who's got off this week, and the like. But for all the action, Talk 107.3 is your new home for Ken Trahan's original prep football report. Get live in-game updates, a full statewide scoreboard, and check-ins with correspondents from every corner of the state. Friday nights this fall from 6 to 11 p.m. is Ken Trahan's original Prep Football Report, presented locally by Dr. Pepper and the Harold Perkins Jr. Tuition Program on Talk 107.3 FM. All right, tomorrow morning, LSU taking on Alabama. Yes, tomorrow morning, 11:45 kickoff does still qualify as the morning. Interim head coach Frank Wilson was on the SEC coaches teleconference day before yesterday, and we had some audio yesterday where we were talking about on LSU side. Let's get a look over on the Arkansas side, and what can we expect when it comes to, I don't know, Bobby Petrino at the helm. What does his offense look like?
He has a unique way of adapting his offensive scheme around the signal caller. And so you could have things schematically matched to contain him, but he's so dangerous, the quarterback, that even when you have the right call, there you go, Taylor Green's taking off and defeating a one-on-one. You still got to make that play in space, and that has proven to be very difficult for just about everybody they've played. But outside of that, they have a talented running back and Mike Washington, who does a really good job approaching 1,000 yards here. Omega Blake is, a 700-yard receiver for them. And so they have talent throughout their offense.
I'm not so much worried about Arkansas's offense because LSU's defense, even when they've been bad, they haven't been horrible minus one half of football. Like literally one half of football, it went downhill. Outside of that, LSU only gave up 20 to Alabama last week. Up and down the schedule, you're seeing where the defense put out performances that the offense should have won the game, and the offense didn't win the game. So I'm a little bit more worried about what's going to happen on LSU's offensive side of the football, as it's looking like Garrett Nussmeier's got that ab injury, but he is going to play through it. So kickoff is 11:45. Oh, one more quick one. From Frank Wilson from Wednesday. Arkansas is in a similar spot as LSU. They're looking for a coach just like LSU is looking for a coach. They're dealing with an interim coaching staff just like we're dealing with an interim coaching staff.
What I have seen for them since the transition is a team that hasn't quit, that week in and week out, they put themselves in position to win games. They score points on everybody, and they're a talented team that plays hard and playing even harder. And you would think that may not be the case when you look at record, but that's not the case. Coach Petrino has done a really good job of getting his team up and ready to play each and every week.
Which isn't surprising. He's been a head coach in the past at numerous locations, but nonetheless, they are still 0-5 in conference, 2-7 overall. They are not a winning program. That being said, you look at the losses for Arkansas. As you run it down, they started off the season beating Alabama A&M 52-7, beat Arkansas State 56-14, and it's been all L's since then. They lost 41-35 to Ole Miss. Close game. They lost 31-32 to Memphis. Close game. They were blown out by Notre Dame 56-13, but then lose to Tennessee 34-31. Close game. Texas A&M 45-42. Close game. Auburn was a 2-score win, 33-24. And then Mississippi State was a field goal difference, 38-35 last week. So while they're not winners, while they're not winning, they are not that far off. And man, if you're within a touchdown, you're within within a chance of pulling things off. So 11:45 tomorrow is when kickoff will be. Don't forget all the new traffic rules that are out there. Our news partners at WBRC put up a story about how they apply to an early kickoff with the game time moving up. What does that look like? Well, pregame traffic checkpoints requiring a parking permit to enter campus will be implemented for the game based on traffic and congestion on Saturday. So the thicker the crowd, the earlier you're going to see implementation of all the new security measures that have been taken that started before the Texas A&M game. My guess is it probably will be a late crowd. An 11:45 kickoff, and I'm sure at least 5% of people will go out and vote beforehand. Oh yeah, that's right. Tomorrow is also an election day. I want to talk about that for just a second, if I could, because tomorrow we are heading to the polls to vote on Props 1, 2, and 3. That's to fund the library system, to fund the Council on Aging, and to fund mosquito abatement. This has run like wildfire as Thrive EBR, the mayor's office, has put forth an idea and got volunteers on the other end to bring some money about. The idea is to help out with Baton Rouge's budget as a whole. And as far as I can tell, I am personally in favor of props 1, 2, and 3. I don't normally put my name on anything like that, just from a standpoint of it's not worth the battle. To me, this is worth the battle. Putting my name on these has been, I'm happy to do it because I'm completely in favor of these propositions. They're not perfect. They're absolutely not perfect. Thrive EBR isn't perfect, but we don't have perfection right now when you have multi-generations of administrations in this city running things on the backs of either the future or the backs of one particular section of the parish. And all of our chickens have come home to roost, and we have to start digging our way out of it. Perfection's unattainable. I'm taking what we've got to help out. Here's news. We should have them calling in on both lines. Okay. Oh, I forgot about the UNESCO thing. Shame on me. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Don't have them yet. Uh-oh. There he is.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're gonna have you up here in just a second. Thank you.
637 Talk 1073 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We're going to talk about that Rockin' 1000 you just heard about news in just a second. Do need to remind you about the folks over at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com, founded in 1897 as a community bank. As we're about to wrap up 2025, they remain a community bank. Get your locations at LandmarkBankLA.com. Look, when it comes to your personal banking, it's just reassuring to have not just a bank, but a banker. And when you have a community bank, you have a banker. You have a member of your community. You have a neighbor. You have a friend. You have someone who can share in your wants, needs, dreams, and desires and help you get you there rather than some kind of plug and play with it trying to sell you. On the business end, you already know. If you made it through COVID, you already know the advantage of having the community bank and having someone who's going to fight for you throughout the PPP loan process. Remember that? Yeah. LandmarkBankLA.com. All right, the Rockin' 1000 is coming to New Orleans. We're going to talk about it right here, and joining us to talk about that, we've got Walt Leger from New Orleans and Company, and we've got Fabio Zaffagnini from the Rockin' 1000. Gentlemen, how are you?
I'm good. I've just arrived here in New Orleans. I'm very excited.
Awesome. Glad to have you here. Walt, how you doing this morning?
Fantastic, Brian.
I'm still feeling some jet lag, so I woke up like 3 hours ago.
Okay. That's understandable. It's no better place to do it, though. Fabio, let's stick with you for just to start things off real quick. The Rockin' 1000. Tell us all about it. What is it?
The Rockin' 1000 is the biggest rock band on earth. It's a community of 100,000 musicians coming from all over the world. We organize concerts where 1,000 people play simultaneously in the same place in big stadiums around the world. And after 10 years, we have finally made it to make our debut here in New Orleans.
10 years, where have y'all been seen before? I mean, has this primarily been a European thing?
Well, it started in Italy. I'm Italian,
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago, I wanted to invite Foo Fighters, my favorite band, to a very tiny place in the middle of nowhere, the place where I live in. And to convince them, I asked 1,000 people to play one of their songs. And the video of that performance went viral, and Foo Fighters accepted the invitation, and that's how it started. Since then, we've played in big stadiums in France, in Germany, in Spain, in Portugal, in Brazil, in Korea. So basically, it's a global movement.
Very cool stuff. And you knew somehow the Foo Fighters had to be involved right there. Let's keep it with you for a second, Fabio. If this started with a Foo Fighters song or started with a Foo Fighters tribute, what's it going to look like in New Orleans?
Well, we're going to play 20 songs, 20 rock hits that made the history of rock and roll. So we're going to play songs by Foo Fighters, of course, Nirvana, Green Day, Metallica, Queen. So basically, it's going to be 20 rock hits that we all love and know, played by 1,000 people. So it's a completely different way to listen to music because the band occupies a space as big as a football field. We're going to play at the Caesars Superdome, a very iconic place, and it's going to be something unforgettable.
Walt, hang tight for just another minute. We're going to get to you in a second. I want to stick with Fabio for one more. Who are you looking for here to participate? I mean, what kinds of musicians are we looking for?
Well, we're looking for guitar players, bass players, singers, drummers, brass, keyboard players. Not necessarily they have to be professional. We're mostly looking for amateur musicians, talented amateur musicians who want to experience and make the experience of a lifetime, to play in big stadiums in front of a large crowd, get the chance to meet musicians from all over the world. It's an experience that they will remember forever.
Rockin' 1000 is coming to New Orleans. Walt Leger from New Orleans and Company and Fabio Zavagnini from the Rockin' 1000 are on the phone with us right now. Walt, let's move it over to you for just a quick second. Talk to me a little bit about why New Orleans is the perfect pairing for this. I'm sorry, Fabio. I was hitting up Walt on this one. Good.
Can you hear me?
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brian. I just can't sit here and not smile. I mean, hearing Fabio talk about it is so exciting. But I really want to encourage people to go check this out online. Also, YouTube's got a great library of images from these events all over the world. This is the perfect thing for New Orleans. I mean, we know that New Orleans is one of the great music cities anywhere on the planet. But this is also a community event, a celebration of joy. And there's no place on the planet that does that better than the city of New Orleans. So when you think about musicians coming together in community from all different levels of performance and then playing some of these iconic hits together, there are going to be tens of thousands of families, of individuals, of people from all over that come here to be a part of this iconic event for the first time in North America in our great city. We're really very, very excited about it. It's going to be truly special. And I feel really strongly that years from now, people will say, I was there at this event when it kicked off in the United States in New Orleans, and something that I don't think people are going to want to miss. So we're excited to be partnering with him. He's a real creator and innovator. And at a time where we want people to come together with, in a joyful way, it couldn't be better timed, honestly. We're really excited about this.
Keeping it with you for another second here, Walt. And I was reminded in our newscast just a minute ago of something I completely forgot about, and that's the designation by the UNESCO Creative Cities Network. How does that play into this? I mean, is that kind of one of the sparks in this fire?
Absolutely. You and I got to talk about this months ago, and you're right, we didn't get to celebrate it yet because it just happened on October 31st was the formal designation of New Orleans as a creative city of music. And so I think the timing is perfect for it. I really commend our team, Sam Joffre in particular, for going out and finding it, making this connection with Fabio, and then, really leaning into it. And I think it was a natural fit. We are one of the most special music cities anywhere, and having an event like this is just so right up our alley. I think it's going to be a great chapter in the history of an already really incredible event that Fabio has built.
Yeah, if I recall, when the designation came out, New Orleans was getting ready for, I don't know, Taylor Swift and the Super Bowl at the same time.
We were getting ready for those things. I mean, and then, of course, with the announcement, we had Creative City designation, and then the Michelin Guide come out within the same week. So, I mean, we're globally elevating the brand of our city and of our state, and are really excited about it. These types of events are part of that. You know, you heard about the great nations that have hosted this, the great stadiums. The Superdome, one of the most iconic stadiums anywhere, is going to be an awesome place for this event. And January 31st is coming up quick. We want people that are listening to start making plans and buying tickets and being prepared to be with us. It's going to be a really great time.
Fabio, let's kick it back over to you. We're talking with Fabio Zavagnini from the Rockin' 1000. What makes this experience unique?
Well, I can't say it's like it is unique under many different aspects. The first one, of course, is the musical aspect. You know, to see and to listen to the wall of sound created by 1,000 musicians is something special. It sounds like a miracle happening. You know, a band as big as a football field, many people playing all together. But it's not just that. It's like bringing together people from all over the world. We're going to have many musicians from New Orleans and the region and the entire country, but we also will have musicians from all over the world. Many musicians already signed up from Japan, from Brazil, from Argentina, from Italy, from France, Spain, Germany. So basically, these people will come to the city of New Orleans. They will make friends. They will make an incredible experience. They will meet people. They will hang around the city for a few days. So it's going to be something really special. It's not like those concerts where you can see a very superstar on stage.
Right.
It feels like we're all part of the same music lovers, you know. There's not so much distance between the musicians and the audience at our concerts. And this is something that creates a very special atmosphere. But it's very hard to translate all this into words because you got to live it in person.
Yeah. Fabio,
Brian, this is exactly what UNESCO is all about. It's about bringing people together through culture and experiences. But it's also what New Orleans is all about. You know, I mean, we bring people together, have for generations, for a variety of things. And this is going to be just another one that is going to be incredibly special. It's so exciting to continue to hear and get to experience it. And Fabio is such a creative innovator. We're thrilled to partner with them.
Fabio, I want to go back to you real quick. Talk to me a little bit about the selection process, what you're looking for in these musicians.
So basically, musicians have to sign up to our website, rockin1000.com. They have to send us a link to a video so that we can understand if they're good enough to play or sing or not. And once they're part of the band, they have to sign up to the event. And we have an app that contains all the information needed to participate. So besides logistic information and so on, all the music sheets and all the tutorials, they will have to study from home from here until January 31st. And then we will meet and do 2 full days of rehearsals prior to the event. And then in 3 days, we are ready to rock out at the show. That's how it basically works.
Walt, what are we doing to get the word out, to get folks, to get locals signed up for this one? How does that work?
Oh,
yeah,
well,
our team. Go ahead, Fabio.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. So, sorry.
Our team's working closely with Fabio and his team. Of course, we've got digital assets being pushed out. We're certainly talking to folks like you so that we can share this message, and we'll be continuing to push information out as much as we can so that people can get where they need to go. I think Fabio's probably got some information on this as well. I want to make sure he gets to share it with you.
Go ahead, Fabio.
I mean, the process is basically the same. So we have like many spaces dedicated to all musicians from New Orleans and the region. So basically, there is still some place left, but musicians gotta hurry because places run out fast. And yes, I mean the process is very easy. Of course, they will have to study on our adaptations of the songs because when you play one song in 1,000 people, the arrangement has to be a little bit different, and this technically makes it a little interesting, I guess, in terms of music. Musicians will have to bring their own instrument on site. So all guitar players will have to bring their guitars, their amp, or their drum kits whatsoever. But it's going to be, the process is pretty straightforward and easy, nothing complicated.
Within the concert itself, I'm sorry, well, I was squeezing.
I was going to just say lots of info at neworleans.com, of course, and also tickets available at Ticketmaster.
What will the New Orleans flair? Will there be any kind of New Orleans flair added to this particular concert?
Those are the kind of things we're working on right now, and of course there will be. We're just not prepared to announce that publicly yet, but that's coming in coming days, and we'll be really excited to share it with you when the time's right.
Why? That's the beauty thing about New Orleans, though. I mean, we think of the brass bands and whatnot, but New Orleans has a history throughout every genre of music.
I think a very American form of music that has been cultivated here and has influenced all the music that's come after it. I think that's part of the reason why people connect so much with what's happening here in New Orleans. There's a lot of innovation, but jazz is something we're famous for. Also, we know that jazz has informed the development of everything that's come after it, including rock and roll and everything else. So I think really exciting place and the appropriate place for us to kick off this iconic event in the United States and in North America.
Now, I'm over here looking to get some Cowboy Mouth pushed into the set list. That's what I'm looking for.
Of course you are. And why not?
Hey, Fabio, before we get you out of here, man, how long are you in town for? Are you in for the duration? Are you ready for New Orleans? Are you ready for us?
Of course I'm ready. I'm very excited. I'm gonna stay here for another couple of days. Then I have to head to LA and then go back home, and I will be back in January.
It's a fantastic concept. It's beautiful. I went back and saw some of the YouTubes of previous ones. It is an amazing, amazing experience. Fabio Zavagnini and Walt Leger, thank y'all so much for a couple minutes this morning.
Thank you so much, Brian. Always great to be with you.
Likewise. We'll talk to y'all soon. Appreciate it. We ran way long there. Blew right past your money now. Quick break. Come back. Are we not going to have a new congressional map in time for elections? We'll talk next. Oh, no, that's the last 10 seconds of that. Yeah. That's on me entirely. Walt said, of course you are. Come back with Jenny says, please.
Okay.
Guys, I'm not gonna be all that well. I'm working on something right now, and I apologize. Do what? It's probably not much this morning. Pickles now. Crank it up, JP. I mean, can you imagine 1,000 musicians from all over the world trying to emulate the energy that Fred brings to you?
That would be awesome.
Right? And it's an easy song to learn. I think I've got a pretty decent case here. I wasn't pitching them better than Ezra or something. You know? That might be a little bit tougher. They can pick this up at a couple rehearsals.
Oh,
they're pros, but well, no, they're amateurs.
But is as an amateur musician,
right?
Musician,
right? I think they can get this done.
It's possible.
I'm
sure
it's time to take Cowboy Mouth and introduce them to the rest of the world. Reintroduce them to the rest of the world. I got a legit argument here.
1,000 musicians just.
I know.
That'd be sick. That'd be awesome.
And none of them sweating on you like Fred would.
Right.
None of them climbing the lighting structure behind the stage.
Oh man.
Oh, so good. All right. It is 6:56 to Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Back on track here. That was okay. So I really appreciate the relationship we have with New Orleans and company, because they're constantly looking at new and inventive things. Like, that's going to bring 1,000 musicians to town, but it's also going to put on a concert that's going to go viral. And when we talk about like ways to promote your city, when you get the Super Bowl in town, the amount of exposure you get on TV is irreplaceable. Like the millions and millions of dollars worth of advertising that's equal to. Well, think about it on this scale when you see what the Rockin' 1000 does on just a digital viral level. So, I don't know. I like creativity like that, and it's good for the state's bottom line. You heard the story in news as well. Governor Jeff Landry believes that the U.S. Supreme Court's not going to rule until June on whether the state's congressional map with 2 majority-minority districts is constitutional. Landry was a guest on Talk Louisiana on WRKF with Jim Inkster. He says he believes the nation's high court will determine that race should not be a factor when drawing districts.
What that means ultimately is that the legislature will not be forced to draw minority-majority districts anymore. That means we most likely can go back to, at best, a 5-1 map.
It's not that race shouldn't be a factor. It's that race shouldn't be the only determining factor. There's a difference between being a factor and being the only factor. So with our 6 congressional districts, the map last year was approved. We all know this. I created this weird district that stretches from Baton Rouge all the way up to Shreveport in order to make sure that you check enough boxes to get Cleo Fields elected. If we're pushing things back, it kind of means we wasted our time by having that special session to move back the elections. But it's kind of a no harm, no foul, right? I mean, it makes no difference to us. We're going to the polls to do exactly what we were going to the polls to do when it comes to the closed primaries. But we're just going to be doing them with the old maps instead of new ones. And a month later to boot. I'll skip ahead to cut 15 if you could. Because Jim Inkster asked Jeff Landry about getting involved with LSU athletics. The governor reiterated what he's already said. He's not involved in the search for a new coach, but hopes that LSU sets the standard for what a contract should look like for a football coach. Cut 15.
There are a number of coaches that have signaled that there's no need for these big buyouts. We'd rather you front load the contracts and give us some performance basis.
You know, the number of people that made fun of him after he did it, and now it's being talked about on a national level as a possible template. We'll pick that conversation up later. Oh, the amount of crap that Jeff Landry caught. Oh, what's this idiot doing? Oh, he's a moron. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And now everybody else is talking about, why would you want to pay $15 million for a head coach? Wouldn't you rather pay $7 or $8 million and spend the rest on NIL? I would rather a $5 million coach with an extra $10 million to my roster than a $15 million coach and all the athletic department's fund or all the athletic boosters are tapped out before you can even buy an offensive line. And we've seen what happens firsthand this year when you don't have an offensive line. It's ass. It's buns. Hey, I like the JP, the hip lingo, the buns. It's buns. That's what kids say these days.
Sure.
Aren't you a youth pastor? You should know this shit.
Youth minister.
Youth
not
minister.
ordained.
Oh, okay.
It's different. Not yet.
What's the you don't get to bless the Domino's pizza? That's not the difference.
Right, exactly. It's taco night this Sunday. Come on, man.
Oh man.
In other news, Jenny says it's only 4 chords. I thought it was only 4 chords. That'd be an easy song.
That was a different version. That felt sped up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it was the best of.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know if that was the difference.
You want the one with the jester on the CD cover.
Oh, okay. F sharp, A, B, D, and then the last chord goes to C sharp after. That's why the chords sound like that. You don't hear too many songs that start in sharps. Yeah.
I needed a moment without heavy news, though. That was awesome.
Oh,
that
yeah.
whole interview was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Walt said, "Of course you are."
That's the other Cowboy Mouth song. I believe. That's a good song. That's a good.
Do what?
Song I Believe by Cowboy Mouth. I was like, I know that song.
I don't know that one.
I think that was the one they came out with the year the Saints went to the Super Bowl.
That sounds right.
Was it? I think so. I just remember that being like a big thing.
No, their other big one was "How Do You Tell Someone?"
Yeah, that's on here too.
Which I'll randomly break into just like in the middle of nowhere. Like it'll just pop up. Like Phil Collins' "Easy Lover."
That I don't know, man.
Which doesn't pop up; it just never goes away.
Yeah, it's just always there.
Gene says, "Don't talk to me like I was deaf and dumb. We've broken down and broken up so much that I am numb. Talk about, don't shout about the people we become. There's a little girl who's crying over here." Michael says, "Don't shout at me like I was born a fool. You speak of love and dream of love. Now dare to treat me cruel. Nothing's fair. Nothing won't."
Is that the song?
Yeah.
Nice.
Please let's make some rules. And there's a little boy who's crying over here. Did you ever know me? I swear that I have tried. Did you ever need me? I feel like I just died. Did you ever want me? 705 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. JP producing, broadcasting live from the 180 Pros studio. 180 Pros. because the only time you need a 360 is in a dunk contest. That's not their tagline. Is it time for your IT to get a 180? 180pros.com. Busy second hour coming your way. By the way, thanks again to Fabio Zaffagnini and Walt Leger for hopping on board to talk about the Rockin' 1000. I had a nice little break from the headlines. I mean, wait, think about it. Between everything going on at LSU over the last couple weeks and the governmental shutdown, and we've got Thrive EBR on the ballot tomorrow. It's been talked about a lot. We got Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3 on the horizon. Whitney, Hoffman, Sayal joining us in our next segment. With everything, you know, this is something where 1,000 musicians are going to make music together. So cool. All right. Speaking of which, Whitney Hoffman Sayal will be in for our next segment. Got her coming on to talk about downtown, just the status of things right now. Downtown is like a forever evolving challenge because the role of what a downtown is and should be is not today what it was a decade ago. What's it looking like? What's she going after? Who's she hunting? We'll talk with Whitney coming up in our next segment. Also this hour, we have got Tommy Faucheux from the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association slated to join us. Earlier this week, Texas was granted primacy, which means they can do what they want when it comes to approving their own Class 1 through 6 carbon sequestration wells, Class 6 wells. So we have a moratorium. And when our economic development department is out there on the hunt looking for new business, and they say, well, we like some carbon offsets wherever we go. As of right now, we can't tell them yes, and Texas can. I don't care if you think carbon offsets are going to save the planet or not. If that business owner thinks that carbon offsets will save the planet, well, I want the jobs that come along with that. We'll talk with Tommy coming up at 7:35. Right now, the top stories and trending.
Number 5.
All right. This story needs more room than just top stories and trending, but it's the only place I can fit it. Traffic was a nightmare yesterday morning, and part of the reason for that was Old Hammond Highway was shut down. Here's why. The 12,000 block of Old Hammond, just east of Sherwood, was closed as a crime scene. 23-year-old Stacy Charles was killed, stabbed to death in a parking lot. Stephen Heinrich Jr. is suspected in the murder. Allegedly, Heinrich, after stabbing Charles repeatedly, rammed into her vehicle with his, repeatedly as well. Then attempted to flee, got into an accident, a head-on collision once he got on Old Hammond, and then dude set himself on fire. Now, first responders were able to put out the fire, extinguish the fire, and arrest Heinrich, who, by the way, was out on bond for battery of a dating partner, is what he was accused of on November 5th. Stephen Heinrich's having a rough November.
Number 4.
And his victims are having a worse November, to be sure. We've got some insurance rates dropping out there. Commissioner Tim Temple has approved all state North American insurance companies filing for a 7.6% rate decrease. That's going to apply to the 10,746 personal auto policy holders in Louisiana that have that particular insurance. Temple also approved Encompass Insurance Company's request for a 15% decrease. Encompass only has about 1,500 statewide.
Number 3.
A panel of judges with the First Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that a trial court judge abused their discretion when they decided members of the public could not be in the courtroom when a victim testifies in the upcoming trial against Melanie Curtin. The panel said the court did not have a, quote, substantial reason for excluding the public from the courtroom during the adult victim's testimony. We talked about this recently with attorney Franz Borghardt in our Legally Served segment. That audio is available on demand at talk1073.com.
Number 2.
LSU confirmed the start date for its new university president and executive vice president yesterday. According to the school, President Wade Roos and Vice President James T. Dalton will have their first day this coming Monday, November 17th.
Number 1.
Tomorrow is Election Day in East Baton Rouge. That means Thrive EBR is not on your ballot. Propositions 1, 2, and 3 are on your ballot, and those 3 propositions are to renew the millages for the library, the Council on Aging, and mosquito abatement, respectively. Part of the Thrive EBR plan is to take a little bit of that money off the top and move it over to help pay down a lot of debt for the parish to help free things up within our current budget. What's trending, JP?
Well, airline disruptions continue across the U.S. with over 1,000 flights canceled on Thursday. It could take up for a week for air travel to return to normal operations following the shutdown.
And the thing on that is, JP, if they're not back up to speed in a week, you've got Thanksgiving travel kicking in. So you're going to have a lot of leisure travel tack on top of that, which is going to make matters worse.
It'll be a nightmare.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Oof. Oh, in other news, the IRS is doing something nice for a change. Starting in 2026, contributions to your 401k will increase by $1,000 to a limit of $24,500. And even more money can be socked away if you meet certain age thresholds.
Like 50?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I got less than a year to go. Awesome.
Getting there, man. Getting there. Be able to. A limit will increase for you for sure. In other news here, Vampire Diaries star Ian Somerhalder made a visit to Lafayette yesterday promoting his bourbon brand, Brothers Bond.
Okay. All right. So I love the title of this bourbon.
Yeah.
And you learned last hour why. Because over at St. Paul's in Covington, we call ourselves the Brotherhood.
Nice.
All right. We stick together. And Ian Somerhalder is a St. Paul's grad.
That's so cool.
So I love that this bourbon is called the Brothers Bond. That's yeah. I got my St. Paul's baseball hat right over there.
That, man.
You know, it's Ian Somerhalder. It's Kate Anderson. It's me. You know. All crushing it, right?
Killing it, man.
Just killing
That's what I'm talking about. No, it is exciting though, really. I mean, it's really cool.
Very, very cool stuff. And so I also like the fact that, you know, you move out to Hollywood and whatnot and you still come home.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm a little bit concerned about the level of people, the number of people who are going to show up to see a dude from the Vampire Diaries.
And we've seen it. Did you see the footage of people staying there?
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Look.
And it's not younger. Like, these aren't teenagers we're talking. We're talking, you know. I don't want to, you know, but I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh, my goodness. It's 7:13.
I'm going to give myself
no, that's why I'm moving on. I'm just closing the book on it. All right. We got a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk downtown with Whitney, Hoffman, Sayal next.
You know, you just got some older women that have been out there from 11 o'clock the night before he arrived. I'm like, okay, I got you. No hate, not hating.
Yes, I am. Oh, my word. Oh,
hello, good morning.
What do you want to talk about downtown specifically? What about your 3 meetings Monday?
Yeah, I was going to start with that. And then we're going to pivot over to just downtown in general about how it's a constantly evolving battle. It is like downtown today is not what it was a decade ago or 2 decades ago. It's just so you've got a moving target.
Constantly. But that's the exciting challenge of it all.
Yes.
Good. How are you? And maybe address the fact that some people say downtown gets everything and some people say downtown is not a safe place to be. Yes, I'm tired of that narrative. It's neither nor, right? Somewhere in the middle.
Downtown should get some things because that's why cities exist.
Different parts of the city need different things, just like children.
Yes. And certain parts of the city act like children. 7:15 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We're moving quickly this morning, y'all. We're going to talk downtown in just a quick second. Need to remind you about the folks over at Neurojust. Neurojust.com, Neurojust. If you suffer from anxiety or depression, or have a family member or a loved one who suffers from anxiety or depression, and there's an and on this one, you have thus far been treatment resistant. Okay, you've tried the sit down, talk it out therapy, doesn't really take. You've been given prescriptions for antidepressants, you don't like the way they make you feel, or you experience the diminishing returns. Give Neurojust a look. They specialize in something called transcranial magnetic stimulation, or TMS therapy, they call it. Sweeping the nation. It's FDA approved. There's no side effects. It's non-invasive. Basically what it is magnetic pulses that target the part of your brain that regulate mood. If you suffer from anxiety or depression, you know it's a constant fight or flight battle. It's like having 6-foot waves and choppy seas up in your head all the time. This just calms those seas. Learn more at neurojust.com, Neurojust, neurojust.com. All right, time to pivot. Talk a little downtown Baton Rouge. Whitney Hoffman Sayal from the Downtown Development District is in with us. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good. How are you?
Doing very well. I'm glad you were able to hop on board this morning because there's another Plan Baton Rouge meeting, Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3 meeting coming up on Monday, right?
Yes.
Yes.
At 5. Goes till 7:30. It's at the Shaw Center for Performing Arts, and this is the last chance, last meeting to get your input in.
What has the input looked like so far? I've been to either 2 or 3 of them. I don't, because there's been a handful.
Yeah, I mean, I think the input's been really robust. They've had over 1,000, maybe 1,400 responses so far. I think it's things that we expected, right? There's consistently across the board a better connection to our riverfront. As everybody understands, that's a huge asset that we haven't quite tapped into. We have some assets like the rotary sculpture, but we could do better. And then I think there's, different kind of market diversity, right? So we know we have a worker base, or we have a growing residential base, but the retail, right? Where's the retail? And how can we find opportunities
Hang on,
for that?
let's start there.
Yeah.
Let's dive in on that. Where is the retail? It's 2025.
It's it's so complex, just like everything else. But first, you have to get the residents, right? That's what typically retailers are looking for. But downtowns are a little bit different in the fact that we're not made up of just residents. We're not rooftops. We're workers too.
Right.
So Mathern's, that is one of our retail, and that was one that we had to work with to develop a model that was both catered to the resident and the worker, right? And
Which,
then,
by the way, perfection.
beautiful.
And look, I say this knowing Mathern's is a sponsor of the show, but the downtown location, the way that old bank was revamped into a grocery store, it has access from the 3rd Street side or the 4th Street side with checkout registers on both sides. So it's not like you have to redirect your route wherever you're at. The old bank vault is now the wine vault.
It's cool.
Yeah, very cool. And the lunch crowd just churns through there.
And the food is great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then
salad bar is very underrated, by the way.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And you can park or walk, right?
Mm-hmm.
On either side. No, it's beautiful. I think retail is challenging in a lot of ways because so much online shopping, right? And that's across
where
the
I was
board.
going. That's where I was going with.
Yes.
If we're looking for retail in 2025, it's not the same. Hey, let's go hit up a clothier to open a storefront on 3rd Street. Like we're trying to reinvent, Michael Corleone and Kay walking along doing their Christmas shopping in The Godfather.
Right.
This isn't that anymore. It's a different target.
Yeah, I think that a clothier could potentially work, but what you really have to have is that destination retail, right? Something that drives getting people downtown, and then that will catalyze additional retail, such as like a clothier or something like that, to where once you get people downtown and they're there to shop there, then they can, mosey around and shop a little bit more and make a day and experience of it.
When you talk about a destination, what would we be talking about here? Because I think most people would translate that to the biggest around here would be Bass Pro, and we're not going to have a downtown Bass Pro.
No, man, I hate to even
you
put
say
out my
no
idea.
like that, but in Memphis, Tennessee, the Pyramid is a Bass Pro.
You're right. I hate to play my hand here, but that there are certain things, right? Like, what if it was an American Girl doll,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
You know, and so that sort of catalyzes off of all of the museum attractions where you're bringing your kids on Sundays, and then you go to the American Girl doll store, and then you know, do go to a restaurant, have a bite to eat, that sort of thing.
Right.
I think also we really need to work with the restaurants and potentially new restaurants and look at the times that people are looking to eat. It's changed since 1990s when a lot of the restaurants opened,
The
right?
times that people are looking to eat. Meaning,
Yes. So a lot of our restaurants are catering to the worker base, which is important, of course. But we have a lot of restaurants that are that 10 to 2, right? Or that may not be open on weekends. Whereas when we look at Placer AI, which is our cell phone generated data, we see a bump in traffic after 5 p.m. because the residents that may not be working downtown are coming back downtown. So they're looking for somewhere to eat. In the same way, if we have a large event, right? Like, that's in the evening, and so there are some restaurants open for sure, but I think that there is an opportunity for
you
more.
try getting your foot in a Town Square Pizza after 5.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It's um that on that front I could definitely see it. I just, when I think of like eating times, I'm like, lunch and dinner are still lunch and dinner.
They
but it's
are
so varied based off of, you know, if you're going to sit down and be more social, if it's more of a social event than a food event.
right, but not all of our restaurants are open for dinner.
Right.
And I think, and you know, we've seen an increase in our residents, right? Like a 16.5% growth over the past 10 years. Rivermark is full. We're at 94% of capacity or occupancy in our apartments in the central business district. And then we now have 7 hotels that we didn't have many years ago.
Right.
And their occupancy rates are higher than anywhere else in the parish. So I think there's plenty of opportunity for retail and catering to those new growing markets.
When you see something out there like Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3, a lot of folks will just start to speak up and say, man, downtown gets all the love. Downtown gets all the attention.
I think obviously downtowns are really important, right? I ask people who say that to me, I was like, when you go and visit another city, or when you even think of a city that's doing really well that you want to emulate, name one that doesn't have a thriving downtown.
Right.
Right? It's very hard to do. I think downtowns are important in that too. Like, if we have people don't move to town or stay in town if they don't have a good experience in it, right? So if I'm looking to open a business and I come to Baton Rouge, I'm likely going to downtown to look at all of the historic and cultural attractions that we have, right? So and I just think that downtowns, just like many parts of the city, it's an ever evolving cycle, right? Like, we've been existing for hundreds of years, right?
Right.
And just like everything else, everything changes, everything needs maintenance, everything, you know, technology changes, people's desires and attractions, all of that changes. It's a constant moving target.
Yeah, and not just within times, but within, you know, the time in your life as well.
Correct.
I mean, there's you know, there's time where you want to be in the thick of it, and then there's time where you want to stretch your legs out in the country. There's time where you want to be in the suburbs. There's time where you know, it just, people have different wants at different stages, but people also have different wants for different reasons.
Correct. But we talk about wanting to keep our young professionals.
Yeah.
Our young professionals are not moving to rural Alabama,
No.
right? They are choosing a city. Of course, they visit it before they just move there, right? So if we have we have great universities and colleges here that are exposing young professionals to Baton Rouge, but then we see them leave, right? So there needs to be an effort in better connecting to our young professionals. And I think downtown is a really good way to do it, because young people want to be social. They want that atmosphere.
Right.
And we see that in terms of who is living downtown right now in the CBD. It's young professionals and it's empty nesters.
Yeah. Oh, and the empty nest part of that is a big part of it.
Yeah.
It's, that should not be overlooked, because the want to be, okay, we could talk all day long about like downtowns and downtowns evolving and all that, but this is basic anthropology.
Yes.
Like, since the beginning of civilizations, there has been a trading post.
Yes.
The trading post evolved into what is eventually a downtown. It's the need to be around others and the need to share in the goods and services that others have. You have a centralized location for that. whether it's Athens, Greece 5,000 years ago or Baton Rouge today, it's trying to de-emphasize downtown is trying to undo anthropology. You're trying to undo science. Sorry.
Yeah, no, correct.
It's one of my soapboxes.
You're trying to undo something that I think Baton Rouge should be totally most proud of is the culture and history, right?
Right.
Like that's where it all started. We have amazing assets in the Capitol. Obviously, it's the tallest in the country. We've got the old state capitol. We've got the riverfront. Like there's so many great things downtown that just can't be replicated because that's our history.
Yeah. We got Whitney Hoffman Sayal with us talking about just the status of downtown and where we're at with Plan Baton Rouge Phase 3. There's one more meeting to go coming up on Monday. Let's bring it back around to one of the things that I'm always intrigued about with your job is it's a constantly moving target. I mean, within this conversation just now,
yes,
we've talked about how downtown is different today than it was. Like if you look at the old, you ever look on Facebook, Baton Rouge?
Yes, I am. I am a follower.
So seeing that level of retail, that level of bustling, like all that, like it's going to be different today. How do you know where it's going next? How do you stay one step ahead?
It's data, always data. And I am a data nerd and I love watching it and I love seeing it change because it's exciting, right? If you looked at Davis told me you could lie down on 3rd Street and not worry about getting run over. But now we have access to data tools like cell phone tools that can tell the difference between a resident, a worker, and a visitor. And no personal information. But we can see those times of visitation times. We can see where people are, where our hotel guests are leaving to go shopping or to go eat. So it helps inform a lot of what is going on. So we understand how to direct our efforts based on that data.
What's it telling us?
It's telling us that there's a lot of opportunity for more retail and restaurants with our visitor and our residential growth, right? And I think that we do need a few more catalytic, shots in the arm, if you will, like a riverfront, right? But it's telling us people want to live here, which is really exciting. And I think, like you said, different times in people's lives, right? If we can get them into an apartment downtown because they enjoy live after 5 or they enjoy being able to walk to Mathern's and not in their car, then those, especially the young professionals, those are the ones that are going to get jobs here. They're going to find their spouses here and they're going to settle down and get a mortgage and they may move to another place, right? That has, your 1 acre yard and that kind of thing.
Right.
But if we want to hook them in, I think downtown is the place to do that.
Before we get you out of here, we mentioned Live After 5. Live After 5 is one of the things that would be able to stay alive if Props 1, 2, and 3 pass tomorrow. Is there anything else in downtown that is kind of contingent upon making sure we stay, as close to budget as possible?
I think everything, right? I mean, I am not a budget expert by any means, but downtown is reliant on many of the different city services and departments, right? So you got the maintenance department, you've got buildings and grounds, and the majority of our the public property on the city side is maintained by buildings and grounds. So if we talk about wanting to do better for our riverfront, if we talk about maintaining things better, right? Like, well, then cutting that budget is certainly not going to help it.
She is Whitney Hoffman Sayal from the Downtown Development District. Last meeting's coming up. Give us one more time where it's at.
It is at the Shaw Center for Performing Arts, and best place to park would be the garage on 3rd and Convention.
Oh, wow. Okay. Good little tip right there. And that's coming up on Monday. What time?
5 to 7:30.
All right. You already know my answer for Riverfront.
I do.
Bring back Fun
Love
Fair
it.
Park and put it on the levee. It's not hard. We can get this
something.
done.
It's got to be something.
No, it's got to be Fun Fair Park. I'm dead set on this. Whitney, I always appreciate your time. Thank you so much for hopping on board.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We got news, traffic, weather coming your way. We're going to talk carbon capture next with Tommy Faucheux from the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association. Hey, before we hit news, don't forget that Talk 107.3 and Duplessis Pool Builders are giving away a dream pool. Every $25 donation supports dreams come true, granting wishes for Louisiana kids with life-threatening illnesses, and gets you entered to win. Donate $100 and get 5 entries. Enter today at talk1073.com. Here's ABC News. Make fun of me. Paul Arrigo. Actually, Bass Pro looked at Catfish Town about 25 years ago. See that?
because we would have had that destination.
I swear that I have tried. How do you tell someone you don't love them? 737 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We're going to pivot once again, and this time we're talking about carbon sequestration because a pretty big announcement was made earlier this week. Texas, according to the EPA, now has primacy. What does that mean? What does that look like? And what does the future hold? Well, we have Tommy Faucheux from the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association on with us to talk about it. Tommy, welcome aboard. How are you, man?
Happy Friday, Brian. Good morning.
Good morning. Likewise, happy Friday to you as well. Before we get into what's to come, let's talk about what this means. The EPA grants the state of Texas primacy. What does that mean?
It means the advantage that we had for the last 2 years of being the state, ahead of the pack, if you will, when it comes to embracing and moving forward with CCS projects. That advantage that we hosted, that we held, now has been erased essentially because as of this week, Texas gets to do what we have had the ability to do by the permissions granted to us from the EPA for the past 2 years. And so, once again, we're in a position where we are going to be competing with our colleagues and friends in Texas.
Competing on what level? Because to me, this is a lot bigger than just putting CO2 under the ground.
Well, I mean, look, we know that with CCS investments come, additional projects, nearly $70 billion in projects, everything from Hyundai Steel to Meta to other new lower carbon manufacturing projects that have been announced all in the last 2 years in anticipation of CCS permits being issued in Louisiana. All of that investment was part of Louisiana getting primacy from the EPA in 2023. It was basically the EPA saying, Louisiana, the future is yours. Go manage and do what you will with it. When we look now at Texas receiving that same Class 6 authority, that means Texas now gets to start permitting the CCS projects that lead to the innovative projects that allow them to bring more low carbon manufacturing, data centers, and others into their community. And so it is bigger than just permitting authority for the states, because with permitting authority comes investments, not just in CCS, but in other forms of manufacturing. And so when we look at the comparison amongst the two, this 2-year window that we have had to really set ourselves apart from the rest, doesn't mean we're not moving forward with CCS, but what it does mean is that Texas is now pulled even with us in the ability to compete for that business.
Well, you say we're not moving forward, but we do have a moratorium.
Sure. So the administration announced, the state administration announced a moratorium on the review of new permits here in the past several weeks. Not ideal by any means. I mean, there are still projects and permits being reviewed. But let's be real. We have only had in the past 2 years one Class 6 permit granted for CCS. It will be interesting to see. Texas has the authority. How quickly do they move to start permitting these projects? The EPA, prior to Texas receiving that authority, had already started issuing Class 6 permits in the state of Texas. We saw a handful of those here in the last couple of weeks. So the ability is still there for us. The opportunity is still there for us. But now that Texas is even, I really think we need to step up our game if we're going to be able to compete.
Okay, you mentioned Class 6. For those of us who are just lay folks out there, what's the difference between the classes of wells?
Sure. So you have different classes of wells for different types of oil and gas activity, chemicals activity. Class 6 is the type of well used as a carbon sequestration well. And so the EPA makes sure before they give the state authority to regulate these operations that they have the processes, that they have the measures in place to make sure that when a company drills a CCS well, a storage well, that they have all of the tools needed to protect the communities the groundwater, anything that is needed to ensure that the activity is done safely, that the state has not only the rules in place, but the ability then to enforce those rules. And so, Class 6 authority is a big deal because it says your state is capable. You have the people, processes in place to do this safely.
Tommy Faucheux with Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association joining us to talk about Texas being granted primacy from the EPA. This is going to change, if not change the game, at least change who could suit up in the game when it comes to carbon capture and sequestration. Tommy, how did the narrative get to where the narrative is, to where we started thinking, we meaning just the folks in Louisiana started thinking that there was a danger in doing this?
Well, so December of 2023 is when the state received Class 6 authority. And, I went back, there was an article written in The Advocate right over that holiday season where we were seeing everyone from Governor Edwards to Governor Landry, who was, governor-elect at the time, celebrating the opportunities. You quickly then saw companies wanting to bring low carbon investments to Louisiana, that $70 billion number. That's when the number started to increase significantly. And the people opposing in that article, if you go back and look at this time, were people who were traditional anti-fossil fuel, anti-oil and gas activists. Mm-hmm. They were the only people really voicing any opposition at the time. That started to grab hold. And what you've seen is as CCS, the opportunity for CCS in Louisiana brought more manufacturing, more oil and gas activity, expansion of the oil and gas industry. Those same people who were opposing then really doubled down because at the end of the day, their goal was to oppose the oil and gas industry, the petrochemical industry. And, we've now spent 2 legislative sessions, debating and arguing over different components of CCS. What I would remind everyone is the EPA would not have granted that authority if the state did not already have the ability, the processes in place to carry it out.
There's been a couple of, misinformation type narratives that are out there. How did we get to the one about it being dangerous? I mean, let's take the project that's going to be under Lake Maurepas, for example. When you're pumping CO2 a mile underground, is there any way it can affect a lake that's 10 feet deep?
Look, the process, we're sending carbon dioxide in some cases 2 miles, many cases 2 miles below the surface of the earth. That goes through a very thick layer of cap rock into a very tight sand-like formation. That's important because that cap rock, if you will, that thick layer of rock prevents the CO2 from then trying to resurface, if you will. And, there have been some phenomenal studies done, quite frankly, for the public at the legislature in endless town meetings with companies and community groups, LSU, UL, other trusted organizations showing and demonstrating what the subsurface of our state looks like, what the geology of our state is, and why CO2 can be safely stored permanently underneath the ground, nearly 2 miles below the surface. And so there are a lot of people who are trying to say it is unsafe, but those people's goal is to stop it. They don't want the activity to take place. They don't want the manufacturers, the steel plants, the data centers that come as a result of that activity. So they're doing their best to say, and to fearmonger, if you will, and tell the public, this isn't safe, stop it at the beginning. Because at the end, they don't want the results that come from it, which are positive for our state, positive for our state's economy.
Well, and I've yet to hear the argument that explains how it's unsafe. I've heard people mention, there's a worry about explosions. Well, CO2 is post-combustible. If CO2 are flammable, we physically wouldn't be able to blow out a candle. Like that's
No, I mean, you make a great point. I think, there again, I go back to the people who are wanting to make an argument that this is unsafe, or people who just don't want the industry.
Yeah.
They don't want any industry. They don't want oil and gas. They don't want manufacturing. And when we did a study at the beginning of this year that just looked at the oil and gas economy of Louisiana, something we do every 4 to 5 years. Right now, our industry is responsible for 1/4 of the state's economy. CCS lets us grow that. A lot of people opposed to this, they don't want to see any of that. They basically are saying, we're happy to give away 1/4 of the state's economy. That's just disappointing.
Yeah. Across the board. So how do we move forward and make sure that, now that Texas has their gates open, how do we, make sure we stay out in front?
Look, I think at the end of the day, it's some of those pro-business principles we've talked about for years. Provide certainty. Companies are applying for permits. Let's have an expeditious process. Let's make sure that we take into account the needs of the communities where these projects are going, but at the same time are smart about the not just local, but regional and statewide benefits. If a project can be done safely and can benefit the community, which most of these, all of these, I would imagine can, then we need to be able to move forward quickly and give the companies the certainty they need to be able to invest here. Just because Texas has caught up doesn't mean Louisiana's opportunity all of a sudden goes away.
Right.
If anything, our competitive juices between Louisiana and Texas should really motivate us to say, no, look, we have been, moving ahead despite opposition from federal administrations, activist attorneys. We have continued to grow this tremendous bedrock industry that is the oil and gas industry in Louisiana. Let's use this time while we're inspired to compete with our friends to the west to provide the certainty that these companies need. Let's start moving forward with some of these projects. Let's get more than one permit out the door and create the opportunity, because as the investment starts to take hold, we're going to raise the quality of life for many Louisiana communities.
I'm all about it. He's Tommy Faucheux with the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association. Not a conversation that's going away anytime soon, but we're just straight up out of time for the segment. Tommy, we always appreciate the time.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. I mean, I've been saying it from the beginning. If the longer we hesitate on this, the more we're just going to build Texas up and build Texas up. Get ready for Baytown 2.0. It's 7:50. Here comes your money now. You have one more Cowboy Mouse song? Awesome. Love of my life. It would be DJ Pope. DJ Pope. Because Pope John Paul.
Dude, that's a lot to carry. I can't be doing that. DJ Pope, what do you
I'm
think?
just giving you all kinds of religious titles today.
I mean, what do you think they're going to show up? What are they going to hear? DJ Pope, DJ B-side.
B-side?
That's you.
That's me.
That's you, man.
I like it. B-roll was another.
I may have looked up a ton of Baseline Brian. Spin Master B. Rhythm Riot. DJ Neuron. What? DJ Hypertension. Oh, Hyperion. DJ Bassquake.
Nope. How about no? You crazy Dutch bastard.
Freaky dicky Dutch. Let's see. Scary. AI, man. Crazy.
We might get a pop in from the mayor at some point.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
756 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. I feel like we need explanation. It's hitting some cowboy mouth on the way back in from breaks. Okay, rewind the clock back to 6:35. We had Fabio Zavagnini from the Rockin' 1000. The Rockin' 1000 is this, it was an internet sensation about a decade ago and has grown every year since then. It's 1,000 musicians brought together to put on a concert. And they're coming to New Orleans. So we had Fabio on, we had Walt Leger from New Orleans, the company on, to talk about, they're coming to New Orleans, and it's like open audition right now. And as we were talking about, putting together the set list, I was like, is there going to be a little bit of, a New Orleans flair to it? And because they play rock music everywhere they go. This started with a Foo Fighters tribute, and it's grown from there. But it's been rock music everywhere. And I'm like, well, you don't have to be all brass band to be New Orleans. Like, you could put some cowboy mouth in there. I would be very, very easy to add Jenny Says to the set list. And it was half kidding at the time, but as the show's going on, I'm like, I'm on board with this idea now. So we've been jamming out with a little bit of cowboy mouth this morning. Might pivot next hour and hit another New Orleans band. I don't know. Might stick with the cowboy mouth. Everybody's loving it. So we are coming up on the first round of the high school football playoffs. Actually, they're underway already. Had some games played last night. The LHSAA playoffs are going on. Your home for all the action is right here on Talk 107.3 FM tonight. Ken Trahan's original. coming to you from 6 to 11 p.m. Yes, that's 5 solid hours of scores, updates, highlights from all around the state. I want to say there's close to 30 Greater Baton Rouge area teams that are playing overall. Our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network spoke with Spencer Verrett with the LHSAA network. He says Edna Carr is the favorite to repeat as the Division I select champions, but a few of their Catholic League rivals might have a chance at upsetting the Cougars along the way. Cut 16.
They avoided Curtis and they avoided Rommel because the way that they can control the clocks, if you can get a couple turnovers, I think you can really give Carr a run for their money. But out of the rest, I think the only team that right now I'm picking that could maybe beat Carr in the Dome is if St. Augustine gets there.
I mean, you got to look at the whole bracket. It's Carr's got well, when you're the number one seed and you're that dominant, you're going to have a relative. It's going to look like an easy path because you're so good. But outside of Carr, what else are we looking at? I mean, you got St. Charles Catholic is the number one seed in Division II. Barrett says he likes the Comets to make it to at least the semifinals, but says watch out for Loyola Prep on that front.
Kind of rough for all these teams in South Louisiana that would have to go travel to them. I think there was maybe people coming into this, well, they really haven't played anybody, but when they played with North DeSoto and then they obviously beat Northwood Shreveport last week, I think that made a lot of people realize, hey, look, this is a pretty good Flyers team.
Now, over in Division III, top-seeded Lafayette Christian is the clear favorite. Barrett says the Knights are one of the most battle-tested teams in the state, but also states that two other teams could cause some havoc on that front.
Such a good team. They've got wins over Rummel, Central, Karen Crow, 5A programs. They beat Notre Dame. And I think Jules Sumner is maybe a little bit of a team that people are overlooking, even with their perfect record and being a 3 seed. But another team to watch out for has got to be Calvary at the 6 seed.
As far as local teams are concerned, first of all, Southern Lab's already a winner, y'all. Southern Lab picked up their win last night, 48-6 over Central Catholic. But and I apologize if I'm missing it here, but as far as the capital area, the rundown, Prairieville's got Southside, Dutchtown's got Central, Ouachita's got East Ascension, Salmon's got Zachary's got Salmon, Santa Ma's got Ouachita Parish, Liberty Magnet's got Brother Martin, Plaquemines got Livonia, West Feliciana's got Bossier, Bruley's got Albany, St. Michael's got Laranger, Shruma has got Booker T. Washington, Bel Air's got Patrick Taylor, St. Helena's got Avoyelles, Port Allen's got Oak Grove, Donaldsonville has got Westlake, Parkview Baptist has got Darbonne Woods, Glen Oaks has got Catholic of New Iberia, Slaughter's got Pope John Paul, Episcopal's got De La Salle, East Feliciana's got Delcom, and Ascension Christian's got Opelousas Catholic. That's a ton. Oh, hour 3's next. I'm sorry, I had my head on the list. I wasn't looking. Yeah, that's on me. I don't think they have any dirty words. Joe Strummer, please. Joe Strummer by Cowboy Mouth. Huh? Well, yeah. Yeah. I won't hate it if you do it at 8:35. We get one more Cowboy Mouth in because I've gotten multiple texts. I'm telling you, you play How Do You Tell Someone, and like everybody my age just connects, man. Because Jenny Says was the banger, but like that was the one we all knew. That was the one when you pop the Are You With Me CD into the CD player in your car. .806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. JP producing. Dearman's Diner going to be in for a little Foodie Friday later on. Looking forward to that. Absolute Baton Rouge staple, Dearman's Diner. Metro Councilman Dwight Hudson coming up in our next segment. We're going to talk about the budget. Might talk a little bit about Thrive as well, because those two topics are interchangeable. Broadcasted live from the 180 Pros studios. 180pros.com is their website. Who needs 180 Pros? Anybody who's looking to upgrade from an IT provider to an IT partner, 180pros.com. In fact, before we get into this day in history, let me remind you about 180 Pros. What makes them a partner? Well, it's because their success is based off of your success. How can they minimize your time down if something goes wrong? How can they maximize your cybersecurity? How can they make sure that when you need them, they're there? Well, they could do that by guaranteeing same-day response. I mean, if it's already quitting time, let's be real. But like if it's any time before quitting time, if it's any time before, COB, as it were, they're here for you. Also, simplified billing. I can't stress this enough. Is that a lot of IT providers are going to hit you with every line item under the sun. Not with 180 Pros. It's a one-page invoice. That much easier to take care of because their overall goal is your success. 330-2200 is the phone number. 330-2200. Oh, that's a 225 number because as your IT partner, they kind of need to be here as well. 330-2200 or check them out online. 180pros.com. All right, time for this day in history. Let's roll.
All right.
Yeah.
1851. Herman Melville publishes Moby Dick.
No kidding.
Yep.
All right.
It is first published today. 1960. Big jump here. But 1960, Ray Charles' single, Georgia on My Mind, reaches number 1.
Also on this day in 1960,
Okay.
6-year-old Ruby Bridges began attending an all-white elementary school in New Orleans, becoming the youngest of a group of black students to racially integrate schools in the American South.
Very good stuff. That was my next one.
All right.
1991, big leap here. Michael Jackson's Black or White music video for groundbreaking morphing effects premieres simultaneously in 27
that was
countries.
a crazy video.
Isn't that insane?
It was like when you first saw that,
yeah,
how bonkers it was.
It's still bonkers
to see the faces turn into other faces.
Yeah, it's still bonkers to think like no AI. This is, of course, before then.
Right.
Predates that.
Right.
It's insane. Love it. Love it. 2002, the United States House of Representatives votes not to create an independent commission to investigate the September 11th attacks.
Okay.
Decade later, the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2 is released. And the reason why I mention this is because it was primarily filmed in Baton Rouge. So really good stuff. Yeah. Yep. How you doing? Let's see. And 2016 U.S. talk show Tucker Carlson Tonight, hosted by Tucker Carlson, premieres on Fox.
Okay.
And that's what I have. Anything on your end?
No, we're good on my end.
Okay. Moving on to birthdays.
Yep.
Condoleezza Rice today.
Yep.
Patrick Warburton.
Oh, my
today.
goodness gracious. Putty?
Yeah. Yep. There you go. Let's see. Oh, Torrance Hatch today.
Really?
Torrance Hatch.
Okay.
You know who Torrance Hatch is?
Why do I? Yes.
Who?
Boosie, isn't it?
It is. I did not think you would get that.
I was confusing myself. No, I was like, I was stumbling over myself.
I didn't know you would know his real name. I didn't know his real name.
Really?
I see his picture and I see that. I'm impressed, Brian Haldane. I'm
now
impressed.
I feel like we have to move from Cowboy Mouth over to Boosie.
I mean,
it's his birthday.
Man.
You clean versions, please. You don't have to worry about clean versions of Cowboy Mouth.
No. Boosie, I don't know, man.
All right.
All right.
Well, it's also, I mean, not to the level of Boosie, but it's King Charles's birthday.
All right.
Saying. He's up there.
Yeah, man.
Kurt Schilling is 59 today. And those were the only other two that I had.
All right. Moving on to deaths. The only notable one I really have is Booker T. Washington today. And then as far as national days go, it's ridiculous out here. National Pickle Day. You want to go with that?
I got World Diabetes Day.
Yeah, we can go with that too.
Shout out Wilford Brimley. Let's go.
Diabetes.
It's 8:11 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Before we take our next break, got to mention the folks over at Vex European, vexeuropean.com. In fact, you know what? I was on the website yesterday and forgot to make my appointment. I need to get over there. I got a squeaky belt. When the weather got a little bit cooler, I turned on the car, the 18-year-old vehicle, the 18-year-old Mercedes. My car's old enough to vote, but it keeps humming because of the folks at Vex European. The Vinny and his team over at Vex, they do just such a phenomenal job. And yeah, as the weather changes a little bit, you start to notice things that might be off, might be just need a little bit of adjustment. That's where I'm at right now, and I need to go ahead and make my appointment and get over there. If you drive a European vehicle, you bought that vehicle for both performance and longevity. Are you getting the most out of both? Vex European has a specialist for your make of vehicle. BMW, Jaguar, Audi, Land Rover. In fact, if you go to vexeuropean.com, hit the little drop-down tab where it says vehicles, you can look for yours there. That's how you maximize your level of expertise at Vex European, vexeuropean.com. Yo, man. Going all right. How are you?
I can see someone coming in, like, sitting down, like, let me just make sure.
Yep. You're up in this segment. We might get interrupted by the mayor at some point. He wants to make a last-second Thrive pitch. So. Burning the candle at both ends while holding the middle over another candle. No, we wrapped up all the girls' basketball, so now she's moving on to AAU. Just in time for my fourth grader boy to start playing basketball. We do in the Catholic schools. We do girls' basketball season during football season. so they get plenty of gym time. So if it were all basketball, if you get all the boys and all the girls in only one gym, no one would ever have practice. So. What will wipe me down? Yeah. It's your call, JP. You're the producer. You're the producer. It's your call. Eight 814 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. A little shout out to the birthday boy right there. Torrance, happy birthday. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along, broadcasting live from the 180 Pros studio. We've got Dearman's coming up about 15 minutes from 20 minutes from right now. A little Foodie Friday going on. I have some classic Dearman's Diner with the cheeseburgers. Right now, though, it's time to pivot over and talk budget. EBR's budget is out there. The proposed budget, I should say, is out there. We've gotten a couple breakdowns so far this week from Metro Council members, and that's exactly what we're going to do right now with Metro Councilman Dwight Hudson. How are you, man?
Hey, Brian, doing good this morning. Ready to set it off.
Hey, well played, sir. Nicely done. No clean version on that one.
Right.
We've got the budget hit the Metro Council last week. So let's talk about what your initial takeaways were. What?
Yeah, it's what we expected. You have to do with what you got. And so in the midst of these budget cuts, what you're going to see is cuts across the board at city parish. What is really unfortunate about our budget is that it doesn't really address the areas of city parish where the fat actually is, right? Because as you and I have talked over the last 10 years or so, the fat in city parish is in those dedicated taxing agencies. And then the rest of the money is tied up in either debt or in enterprise funds, which essentially work on their revenue from bringing in fees and that kind of thing. So, we all hate that as folks who do budgeting in East Baton Rouge Parish. We hate dealing with that reality, but at the end of the day, it is the reality. And so that is a reflection of the budget.
Let's talk about some of those, protected angles and whatnot, the money that has to be dedicated where it's dedicated. We're going to the polls tomorrow to vote on 3 different propositions that I think kind of pop the top on the conversation that we should be doing this more often. Is that the hope with Thrive? Is part of the hope with Thrive is to say, like, sacred cows don't have to be completely sacred.
That's right. Yeah, I've made the joke before on here. I think that we have too many sacred cows in East Baton Rouge Parish. We don't need to kill them, but they need to go on a diet.
Exactly. Yes.
So the idea here, look, when I talk about the fat in city parish being in dedicated agencies, take, for instance, the library, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who, by all measures, has been a good steward of taxpayer dollars.
Absolutely.
I'm not making any kind of argument that they've done anything wrong or improper. We have some great people at the library board, great administrators at the library. But at the end of the day, the Thrive plan calls for about a 20% cut to the library. After that 20% cut, we remain in the top 1% across the country for per capita funding for libraries at about $104 per resident, right? So if you can sustain a 20% cut and still be in the top 1% of funding per capita for your system, it might tell you that we've contributed too much to that system over time, and it's time to make some changes.
If I've heard any opposition, and I have heard some opposition, but in hearing opposition to Thrive, one of the things is about the libraries, being a good steward of dollars to this point is like, well, if they're such good stewards, why are you taking money away from them? And adding to that, why are you taking money away from them to give them to someone who, talk about the city parish. City parish has been irresponsible in the past with the budget, the way we've created dependencies in the spaces that we've created dependencies.
That's right. Yeah. So I think that where the issue comes up is, you can always look at microcosms within city parish where there's been mistakes and money spent where it shouldn't be. But at the end of the day, the real misjustice or whatever you want to call it, is is that we've created all these different buckets of money where we can't go and budget properly because we've tied it up so tight.
Right. Well, yes, that and where the money comes from has been problematic as well, because we've been able to stay afloat. We've been able to tread water even with all the dedicated dollars by putting things on the back of sales taxes that no longer come here because they're their own city now in St. George.
Right.
And
Right.
that we've been told for the last 2 years now, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
It's going to be, and now we are finally at that tipping point where it's here. The chickens have come home to roost, and now we're looking at a spot where we do need to finally change some things.
Absolutely.
Face the harsh realities that we need change.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And another great example of that is mosquito abatement. It's part of the propositions you'll vote on tomorrow as well. They have completed I think about a $12 million building. They bought a $5 million helicopter. And even after those very large capital expenses, they have about 3 years worth of fund balance in the bank.
Right.
Right. And now if I look at that and I see that I've reduced funding for drainage maintenance across the parish over the last several years, how do I justify 3 years of fund balance in one department whenever I've cut a critical department like drainage maintenance? It just shows that we have to make some of those structural changes to our budget, and that's what Thrive is all about.
Having the balance in the bank. If I'm not mistaken, the library has a 2-year operating balance, correct?
I think it's about a year and a half.
Okay.
It's 140 million at the moment.
It's beyond 1 year though, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So
it is now.
I just when you think about, how many times you hear, I wish the government would manage their budget the same way I manage my home budget. Like, if I could balance my checkbook, why can't they balance the budget? When you look at departments like the library or like mosquito abatement, if only we could live in that world, man. I wish I could balance things out to have 3 years in advance.
Right. Well, and when you look at city parish as a whole, nobody would actually compartmentalize their budget that way, right?
Right.
You put it all in a pot and then you do the divisions from there. You don't say that I can't change my clothing budget or my food budget when things change.
Right.
So.
I can't pay the electric bill this month, but I've got reserves over there for the cell phone bill. It's just, no, you move it over. And when we don't do that, we got Metro Councilman Dwight Hudson in with us talking about the city parish budget. The 11% ish, depending on department, but the 11% cut to the constitutionally protected offices. What's the reception been on that?
It's very tough. Look, the district attorney's office already has backlogs of cases. We already know we're not paying those ADAs enough. And so I think that is the largest pushback in the budget process is there anything that we can do different to fund some of those departments? I can tell you, I'm looking within the District 9 budget to make some changes to help those. It'd be a very small amount because we don't have a ton of money in District 9, but some of that energy franchise fee dollars that we got to individual council members, we'll be taking some of that and giving it to district attorney's office and to the public defender. But it's going to be tight.
The DA's office and the public defender's office have come up a good bit this year. What kind of numbers are we talking about here that it's going to take to keep things afloat?
Yeah. So for the public defender's office, I think about $500,000 would make a huge difference. And so that may be possible within the budget, especially if we start looking at some smaller across the board cuts. For the district attorney's office, I think that will be mitigated some, hopefully, in the next legislative session as they look at these warrants that will come from the state. Warrants is how you fund an ADA with state funding.
Right.
And so I'm hopeful that will make a difference there.
We got Metro Councilman Dwight Hudson with us talk about the budget. And it's impossible to separate the budget talks from tomorrow's vote. It's just, I don't know how.
100%. Yeah.
The proposed budget was built out assuming tomorrow's votes fail.
Right.
So how do things look on Monday if Thrive passes?
If Thrive passes, then you'll see us immediately start working on budget supplements. I don't know that those will be available before the year is up, right? But we will begin working on them, and so you'll see a budget supplement come early in the spring, I would say. But I think that regardless of whether or not Thrive passes, let me say if Thrive does pass, you're going to continue to see cuts at city parish. but they'll happen in a stable environment, right?
Right.
So some of these positions that we're eliminating, for example, those still need to happen at some point because we're still talking about a loss of revenue. But they can happen through more through attrition, right?
Mhm.
And so it allows us to do it in a much smarter way. It allows us to do it in a way that we don't immediately negatively impact services. I want you to think, as a voter or somebody who uses services of city parish, have you been satisfied with, let's say you put in a 311 request for a ditch maintenance or a pothole or something going on with your street? Those often take lengthy amounts of time, right?
Yeah.
Our ability to provide those types of services is not great as it is. But if Thrive does not pass, then they're going to get worse.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely they are, because there's not enough money and personnel to go around because of all the constitutionally protected offices. Dwight, can we talk about what a few of those what the protected, where the fat is right now? Where does it show up the most on the side that's just untouchable?
Yeah, I think it's the library is essentially, the library is the heart and soul of the Thrive plan. When you look at the amount of money that we will pay off in parish debt,
right,
and then the actual recurring revenue that comes from the millage transfer, and so that's the heart and soul of it. But it's those three dedicated millages essentially.
Okay, but those three aren't the only parts of the city parish government that are protected, though, right? What else is out there?
No, you have other parts. I mean, so we have dedicated millages for other things. Like, for instance, we wouldn't touch any of the dedicated millages for the sheriff's office,
right,
because they have responsibilities. We have a dedicated millage for that's parish wide for the mental health facility. I don't think there's really any fat there, and so we wouldn't touch that one. And the rest of the millages are not parish wide, and so that's why it becomes more difficult to make them a part of a plan. Is because you don't want to take a millage that is for a specific district and apply it to a parish wide fund, right? So that's why we're not touching any of those. These three that we're dealing with in the Thrive plan are where the fat is and where they are parish wide.
Right. Well, and that's an important clear. I'm glad you brought that up, because I haven't mentioned that all week. That which affects the parish affects the parish. That which affects the city affects the city. And I know every time I bring up the word deconsolidation, someone cringes and someone cheers. I get that.
Right.
But when we're talking about this upcoming budget, there's no room to have the deconsolidation conversation yet. It's got to start somewhere, but we can't just implement that overnight and magically fix everything.
Right. I think for anyone who's interested in deconsolidation, the argument that I've heard is, you should look at deconsolidation before you do Thrive. I think deconsolidation becomes even harder to do if Thrive fails, because the combination of services is even more important.
Right.
If Thrive fails.
Well, no, but that's like saying you should really think about building a new boat instead of fixing the hole in your boat that's sinking.
Right.
No, you fix the hole in the boat that's sinking, and that's, to me, that's what Thrive is it's the patch that's going to get us through and let us live to fight another day.
Right.
All right. Within the budget itself, how much room is there to move around? How much feedback does the Metro Council actually get? Any leeway to say, no, we'd rather see this here, prioritize this there? Or is it kind of as the mayor pitches it, y'all just vote on it?
It is very difficult for the council as a body to change the budget because it requires 8 votes, right? A super majority of the council is often very difficult to achieve.
Yeah.
I will say that this mayor has been very open to having conversations with council members. And so I know that those conversations are happening, particularly around the district attorney's office and the public defender's office. And so you might see some changes. It's going to depend on what we can come up with.
Do you have any? And just like you are there any changes that you're eyeing up?
Well, I can tell you that I want to find additional ways to fund those, particularly those 2 offices.
Yeah.
Identifying where exactly the money's going to come from, we haven't done that yet.
See, that's the hard part. Well, number one, we got kind of a cart before the horse thing. You have to put together a non-Thrive budget to look at,
right?
But you don't want to look at it and do all the math until you know you have the benefit of sitting through the weekend and wait until Monday to start doing the math.
Yeah, I can tell you from to answer your question directly, I would like to in the budget for my office change the energy dollars to go to those two offices. It's
Okay.
a very small impact overall, but I do believe that the budget is our opportunity to show the constituents what our priorities are, and us taking action on funding them. And so I would like to do it there. So that'll be a small component, but we've got to find other dollars as well.
Well, and there's another part of this that we haven't talked about yet, and this is one of the first budgets that, at least in my adult lifetime, well, not that's a stretch. It's the first budget in probably 20 years that we're not in some way, shape, or form relying on disaster dollars to carry us through.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Disaster dollars or COVID dollars or American Rescue.
Those are the same to me. American Rescue Plan dollars are the
CARE
same as
Act,
Katrina
yeah.
dollars to me. It's because we're relying on the federal government to give us that little injection in the arm, that lets us not have to do anything responsible on our own end.
Along that same vein, I think that what people
vein injection, get it? See,
I didn't
even mean pun right there.
I didn't even mean to do that.
That's a 1-2 punch.
But in that same line of thinking, we are at our minimums as far as what our reserves should be now, right? So we're not going to use any more one-time dollars or reserve dollars, but we're at those minimums, right? Where we feel like we're safe. So if you do have another hurricane come along and we've got to front some of that money for storm pickup, or the budget's going to be even tighter.
He is Metro Councilman Dwight Hudson. We always appreciate the time. Of course, we will be following this closely as it moves forward, starting with tomorrow's vote. And then
go vote tomorrow, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you as always for the time.
Man.
We got Dearman's Diner in the house. We're flipping it over to Foodie Friday coming up right after we check news, traffic, and weather. Don't forget Moon Griffon's coming your way right after we're done here. And then, of course, Kill Meat after Moon. All right, here's ABC News. Kill the mics. piece of fish at Ruth Chris, but that's not where you're there.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. No, I understand completely. That's like my dad. My dad gets he gets tuna fish sandwich now every time. You know? Like,
Really?
He just really likes it. Yeah.
Y'all do a tuna like a tuna melt?
We can. That'd be off menu, but we've done them. Yeah, people. If you
Bro.
ask for one, we'll do it. For sure.
Nobody around here does a tuna melt.
Yeah. We need to start adding some of that stuff to our menu. Some of the stuff that like we kind of just do if somebody asks.
Yeah.
We probably would sell some. You know?
Yeah. All right. Well, then I'm gonna be sacrilegious twice.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah,
you guys are having hamburgers.
You got the plain cheeseburgers.
Oh, yeah.
You want cheeseburger hamburger?
I'm fine either way. Leave the cheeseburgers for the staff.
There you go. Ham it up.
And then your morning are just like, hey, go to cheeseburger.
Don't start the giggles. How you been, man?
Been good. The was it was about 3 weeks ago when we were over there.
It was about a month ago.
Yeah.
About a month ago. You reminded me.
Y'all.
All
right. Yeah, perfect. My good side.
Screen grab off of the Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
We'd take as many pictures as y'all want along the way, just action shots as we're talking and whatnot. And since it is beef, we will do the Beef Industry Council intro. We're not required to anymore. I just really like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not far from it.
Yeah, we're close.
I love that.
Do something special for the city.
Eight 37 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Morning, keep it going, JP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Stepped away to say happy birthday to Boosie, but we're back on the cowboy mouth. I like it.
That's it.
I got to give the backstory because it was 2 hours ago now, right?
That's right.
So we had Fabio Zavagnini from Rockin' 1000 on. They're bringing Rockin' 1000 to New Orleans, and I was asking what kind of New Orleans flair there would be, and you know, obviously the thought goes to brass bands and whatnot, but I'm like, no, we can do rock music in New Orleans. We can do a little rock and roll. We can do a little cowboy mouth. Let's get some Jenny Says on that set list. And that sparked, of course, JP to start playing cowboy mouth all morning. It's been a lot of fun. All right, it is time for Foodie Friday. You would think I would know the intro by now because the summer's over with. My goodness. All right. It is time for Foodie Friday presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, and we're welcoming back to the studio Casey Evans and Justin Burnett from Dearman's. Fellas, how are you?
Doing great. Good morning, man.
Right up on here. Bring it up a little bit. There you go.
How's it going, man?
Going very well. All right. Always look forward to having y'all on because Dearman's is an absolute staple in Baton Rouge. Can we start with the history of Dearman's just for those that I can't believe there would be anybody that doesn't know. But for those that don't know, who y'all are, when you came to be, and how you've evolved over the years.
Yeah, I mean, we find plenty of people who don't know, so we're happy to talk about it. But it's a community place. It actually started off as a drugstore with just the lunch counter in 1958. And the pharmacist there, he ran it for years and years. At probably around the 2000s, late 90s, it converted into a full diner. I don't think they could keep up. I think Mr. Dearman kind of aged out of the pharmacy game, and with the big guys moving in like Rite Aid and Walgreens, but it opened up a whole new industry. So now it's a full-fledged diner, and it's been rocking and rolling ever since.
That's right. I always forget there's a Rite Aid. There was a Rite Aid across the street. There is a Walgreens across the street. So, yeah, I would imagine as far as a pharmacy is concerned, that would be
nobody specifically told me that, but I put the pieces together.
I get how that happened, but Walgreens isn't going to do a cheeseburger the way y'all do.
That's right.
There you have it.
So, as far as being a diner is concerned, being a family diner specifically, like, and y'all know this firsthand because you see me in there. I love bringing the kids in. Is that who you aim for, or is it just the way it's played out?
So it is kind of the way that it's played out over the years, and so obviously that's what we want to cater to. Even as we look at like expanding and things like that, that we want to make sure that we keep the historical, pristine family nature of the Dearman's Diner location as it is. But no, we try to reach out to like we've put advertising towards the college students, because just as you said earlier, who hasn't heard of it?
Right.
These people who come in, 30,000 people once a semester, that are maybe from other states and this and that. And so we target a little bit of advertising towards them. But yeah, our families are our home crowd, schools,
the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about y'all's involvement here, because I mean, y'all weren't here in '58. What brought y'all on board? And the side question to that is, what made you want to stick with the Dearman's tradition?
So I started there in 05.
Yeah.
December 05.
Yeah.
So coming up on the 20. I started there in high school just because, again, community place, just started serving burgers there, and just developed a relationship with the owner at the time, and then stayed. He allowed me to kind of explore other business ventures while going to college, while doing this, and that kind of just led to me eventually taking it over, staying there, creating a home there. Justin came aboard a couple times, during his
throughout my tenure.
life,
I was when I was going to Southeastern, I was actually a busboy at Dearman's, and I worked for the previous owner as when Casey was general manager. And throughout the years, it just provided opportunity for both of us collectively as we ventured in our other endeavors, because me and Casey own a couple of other businesses together also outside of the Dearman, excuse me. So I was the food and beverage director of the Magnolia Hotel in New Orleans for about 3 years. And once Casey had the opportunity to take over Dearman's, he called me and was like, hey man, I think we can partner up and take this thing by the reins and move it forward. So I left everything in New Orleans, came shooting right back home. And here we are 3 years later talking about other opportunities, different ventures, and expanding.
Very, very cool stuff. We might be able to touch on expansion before we get all good done today, but there's no way I don't pivot to food.
Let's talk about it.
Now.
Let's talk about it.
So, the hamburger, the cheeseburger, hamburgers have been, just a staple of the staple of Americana for some time now. We've seen evolution where people try to get super fancy. Other people go for that whole smash burger mentality. Dearman's to me is the essential homemade burger. I mean, it's not
right.
You don't venture out from what is the proven formula. Talk to me a little bit about what goes into the preparation of a Dearman's burger.
So daily we get our ground meat from Calvin's multiple times a day. Keeps it fresh. I think that's probably item number one.
Okay.
Is that he does a special blend for us, and we do it, like I said, multiple times a day, keep it fresh. Then literally, I mean, we source all of our vegetables and stuff. Most of it's local, and keep it fresh daily. It's really kind of the underlying building block.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we stay on top of that really, and but like you said, keep it simple. I mean, we are lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, mustard, pickles, like all the classics, and yeah, I mean, we do some cheese varieties, but really even we have doubles. Some people go off menu order triples, but yeah,
oh my god, do they have a retractable jaw?
You'd be surprised.
It's always the smallest people that do it.
It's the little guys that get the biggest.
We got one big guy who comes in who get a triple. Sometimes he'll get 2 triples or just get a quad. What does he do?
He gets 3 or 4 of them.
I don't know, but
Roman,
but yeah.
if you're listening, we're talking about you.
Okay. All right, the patty itself. I mean, preparation of the patty. We know you're pulling over. Freshness is key here, but seasoning is just it's always on point. What do y'all do to season your burgers?
So actually, we don't use the seasoning. It's actually all in the blend of the meat. That
really,
yes, most certainly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
so that flavor comes from the blend of the meat.
Okay, very good stuff. Once it's on, once it's cooking up here, do y'all? I'm sure you offer up. I always get it medium, but throughout the range is available.
Yeah, you can get a tip.
Sure, yeah. I mean, like the basic is well done, but well done. But anybody orders anything, we do rares. So.
Okay,
that's how you want it. That's how you get it.
So I know we're here to talk about the burger today, and we're going to dive in when we get to the break and sample it. But there are other things on the Dearman's menu that are just as important to really being part of Baton Rouge, and that's the milkshakes, man.
Yeah,
that's once dinner's over, I physically cannot tell my kids no. Yeah, they're asking every single time, and I'm always telling them yes. Talk to me a little bit about the milkshake. What goes into the process, and why do y'all come out better?
So it's kind of the same thing. It's homemade. We're scooping that. We're scooping the ice cream.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I'm not waiting until the break. Yeah. So
this is actually the shake of the season right now. Pumpkin pie.
Yes.
But yeah. So we go scoops, milk, and malt if you want malt, and but yeah. So we blended ourselves. The hand blending, as people got away from that, I think is why quality went down on shakes, and so that's something that we stick with.
It's a texture thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you all don't rush through it. It is it's the real ice cream, not like what you're going to get from a lot of the fast food joints.
Correct. Yeah.
But there's also I think there's something of like watching it be made in front of you.
Sure.
Yeah, all of
experience.
it. All of it.
That's what's so great about Dearman's. It's like it is the food, but it is also the experience. It is the relationships. It's that nostalgia of somebody's just sitting there making it like.
Yeah, that correlates to the burgers also, them being handmade in front of you.
Yeah, we have open kitchen. Yeah.
And yeah, by the way, if you've never been to Dearman's, there is no seat in the house where you don't see the kitchen. There is no seat in the house where you don't see, the milkshake, the bar over there by the milkshakes. It's very open and inviting across the board.
4 walls and a grill.
And you talk about the nostalgia. Y'all offer a flavor on milkshakes that I don't think I get anywhere else.
Correct. We brought that here last time. It was actually the nectar flavor.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's kind of why I'm a fat guy.
Yeah, dude. The nectar flavoring, you can get it in shake form, but the traditional drink is the nectar soda, which is soda water, cream, scoops of ice cream, and the nectar flavoring. I think I don't know too much about the history other than what I've kind of explored. I think it's actually a New Orleans flavor, and
originated out there.
I grew up on nectar cream snowballs.
Yes.
Okay. So when seeing y'all with the milkshakes, I had to go that route and then get it malted, and it's a whole other. It's just a different level. So good.
Yeah. For those that don't know, it's kind of like a cherry almond vanilla flavor.
There you have it.
Yeah. We got Casey Evans and Justin Burnett in with us with Dearman's Diner. You know where to find them. They are in the Bocage Shopping Center at the corner of Old Hammond and Jefferson. Dare I step away from burgers for just a minute, though? Burgers and shakes for just a minute. There are other items on the menu. I got to learn last time around that the chicken sandwich is really good.
Yeah.
What else do y'all offer?
Well, so we were talking about, if you want to jump in, but we were talking about before we went on air. My dad always orders a tuna fish sandwich. He got off the burgers and orders a tuna fish sandwich, and that's his go-to. My mom's a chili cheese dog girl. So yeah, people love our other options. We love our dogs. We're probably going to make that a bigger thing in some of our future stuff.
The veggie burger, surprisingly enough, is very successful here at Dearman. So if you're going that route, if you want an alternate option, it's there and it's tasty as well.
Okay, I hear you.
No one in this studio has to eat it, but somebody can.
They're out there. They are out there. If you hear me.
If that is if you are of the veggie ilk, then Dearman's is probably gonna do it better than
you hear the intro. We're beef here.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we're here for. Getting back around to it, the hot dog, the chili dog. Yeah, my son can't get enough of that.
It's a quarter-pound dog, man.
It's quarter-pound all beef dog.
And as far as the chicken sandwich, I can personally attest to that because I got the chicken sandwich last time I was in. I'm going tuna next time though.
Yeah, and you mentioned you might want a tuna melt. We'll go off menu and let people do that.
Yeah, if you want to get creative, guys, we will oblige.
And that's another thing about having a staple. You've been around since 1958. Like seriously, Johnny B. Good was on the charts when Dearman's opened.
Yeah, and that's in our circulation on the soundtrack.
There it is. All right, little Chuck Berry action. But it's when you have that local atmosphere, that community place, the place where a community will come, is being able to have a little back and forth with the staff, being able to say, hey, can we do this instead?
Yeah.
Or can we try this out? And I mean, it's going to be receptive.
Yep.
All right, it's coming up on 850 at Talk 107.3 FM, which means on the air, we're going to break for your money now. We're going to break for traffic on Facebook Live. Now's where we do the taste test. But it's Dearman's. We already know the answer to this question. I can tell you that pumpkin pie milkshake is phenomenal. All right, here comes your money now. I wasn't expecting this. It's so subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes on the back end of the palate.
When you said pumpkin pie milkshake, I was expecting it to be like right out the blocks, but no, it's so subtle, and not like it's. I don't. The way it mixes with, the ice cream is the same way pumpkin pie mixes with the whipped cream.
There you go.
It's the same balance.
Yeah.
Very good analogy.
So,
yeah, man, did you write that down?
What?
Did you use that?
Well, we got about right until after Thanksgiving before the Christmas flavors we switch it up. So
what are you doing for Christmas? You know yet?
We're gonna do a gingerbread flavoring with like a little gingerbread guy on top and put whipped cream for the snow.
Okay.
Put that on there, and then peppermint bark, peppermint chocolate, peppermint crumbles on top.
That's my wife will be happy about that one.
That was a hit. We that one's become our main Christmas like rotation, and then we kind of do like the gingerbreads. Like we did that maybe 2 years ago. So yeah.
All right, let's get down to business over here.
Justin's gonna build a burger.
Yeah, let's build a burger. How you want yours, Jess?
Whatever you want to put on it for me. I am very, very open to whatever.
Yeah, I got condiments down there. So you might.
And then before I dig in, we got to show it off to the camera. So
fair enough.
You're not getting the mayo mustard mix in house today, but yeah, we still got some.
Wait, y'all mix them?
Yeah. So we do a little mayo mustard blend. It's just also kind of makes it's just that's all that adds into the flavor of that burger.
Yeah.
Like for instance, I don't know if you were a kid, but like when
you were a kid.
If you had it when you were a kid,
I was at one point.
but this makes sense. It will make sense all in a second. But like peanut butter and jelly is different than mixed peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, fair
Same
enough.
thing with the mayo mustard. With the mayo mustard blend we do is really delicious.
Okay. Well, see, and I often don't like to get mustard on a burger simply because mustard it overpowers the burger.
So the mustard is the light part of the blend. It's not a 50-50 blend. It's not, yeah.
All right. I knew I was going somewhere
Yeah,
with that.
yeah. You're intuitive. Yeah.
Burger connoisseur.
Yeah. Well, don't let the next radius.
Do we JP, you want to put the lights on and hand it to him so he can show it off to Facebook? We're still stuck with just one camera.
No worries. Where are we going with this guy?
Right in front of the camera.
There you go. Hope you lotioned your knuckles.
Oh yeah, man! When I opened those catering bags earlier, that whiff came out.
So yeah, my oldest was in from Southern Miss the last time we came, and she ordered a double. I'm like, Carrie, no,
you don't understand. This is not a McDonald's cheeseburger.
Yeah, we're not a
I shouldn't have said that.
It's a real size patty. Like
no free sponsors.
They didn't gotta pay us.
Or start over here. Why is the bun so good too?
Wrapped in foil, it does something too.
So okay, so I'm
talking about the theory. We're talking about the theory.
Obviously, we toast our buns a little bit in house, but like so the toasted bun when you wrap it in there, it doesn't get too soggy. But I like my burgers not fresh off the grill. I like my burgers wrapped for like I don't know a little bit, and then I don't know the specific time, but there's something about the way all the flavors kind of mix together in the wrapping that like.
Well, it's like if you let a gumbo sit for a day.
No, I'm good, but you don't want it's like but you don't want to wait too long because then the burger will get soggy and cold and whatever. But like there is a sweet spot that that I like it wrapped. Yeah.
Okay. It pulls a little moisture into the bun.
Yeah.
Sucks a little flavor into the bun as well.
Yeah.
Man, that's good.
How is there no like? I feel like I taste salt and pepper. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but I guess I don't.
They're still good, Casey.
They're still good.
They're still
Do
good.
another one.
No, they're still good. Oh, he's been going ahead with my phone. We got the footage. Right.
But you don't get those zoom ins.
Yeah, man. You don't get that. Lucy's birthday.
Yes.
Is that why we're setting it off?
That's why we're setting it off. Happy birthday, Hatch.
8:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Foodie Friday rolling right along as well. All right. Did the taste test during the break. Guys, I'm going to rewind back to this milkshake here.
Okay.
So subtle. When you said pumpkin pie milkshake, I was expecting something completely different, completely like punch you in the mouth. But the pumpkin flavor is on the back end of the ice cream flavor. So, like, you get the cream plus the pumpkin, not the other way around. Unbelievably, it's subtle, it's smooth, just the right touch of sweetness to go along with the pumpkin. It's awesome. Home run right there. All right, the burger. When you mentioned a minute ago, you not even salt and pepper. No special Cajun mix, seasoning,
It all
blend,
comes
all
from
that.
the freshness of the produce and the freshness of the beef and the blend of the beef.
And yes, so the beef, letting the flavor of the beef shine through and be the favorite. Not trying to, out of the way beef. I know what I'm doing. No, the beef knows what it's doing, and that comes through first and foremost. The freshness of the lettuce and tomato that are on top of it are just amazing. And you and I were talking about the mayonnaise mustard blend.
Yeah,
I often will avoid getting mustard on a hamburger because it's so overpowering. It does not take a back seat. What we've got here is, again, subtle to where it's more like a ensemble cast and no real star of the show.
Here we go.
Now on top of that, this is just a regular hamburger bun. This is not like a but why is the bun so
we just found the right one that complements the ingredients, man.
okay, because the bun, like, normally if you see a bun that's gonna pop like that, it's got some kind of special sourdough or potato bun or something.
I mean,
this is just a traditional hamburger bun, but it's got the right give to it. It's got the right
so we
whatever.
do put it on the like the bread toaster for so we do toast both sides.
Okay,
but like slightly, unless somebody just wants it more. But so we do lightly toast the bun on both sides. So that probably helps the texture of it a little bit, kind of. But you had it wrapped, and like we were talking about earlier, like that's the way I actually liked my burgers, is to get them to go, because that wrapping just for a little bit, like, lets all that flavor like melt together.
Right, kind of just
right before
lets it all mingle a little bit.
Yeah,
lets the burger get into the bun a little bit.
Yeah.
Soak it up just a touch, just enough, not to make it like soggy.
Not soggy, not at all.
Yeah,
no,
you got to get it before that point.
Right,
there's
a fine line.
There is a sweet spot, and back to the produce. Back to the lettuce and tomato is the freshness and crispness of it. It combines so well with the beef. This is when you think classic burger, it does not get more classic than Dearman's. And when you think classic Baton Rouge, it doesn't get more classic than Dearman's, and continuing to live up to the billing 100%. Let's talk just a little bit. Oh, we got about a minute and a half to go. What's on tap for the holidays? What are y'all doing over at Dearman's that folks need to know about?
Switching up our normal shakes of the season. So we're going to a gingerbread and a peppermint bark, 2 different flavors.
We can talk ACH.
Well, yeah. So in general,
know we're out there.
Yeah. So we've opened up our catering operation, and that is, so if anybody needs stuff, holiday parties, we are more than willing to accommodate. We started partnering with a school in Gonzales, and we started doing their concessions as well.
Okay.
So they get fresh made Dearman's burgers for their concession stand now. So that's kind of ending from the fall for football, but now we're going into basketball with them, and so we got a lot planned for the holidays and hopefully going into next year.
As far as catering is concerned, what do they need to call?
Call our mainline number 225-924-1391 or catering@dearmansdiner.com.
Catering@dearmansdiner.com, or if you're swinging on by for lunch. I mean, if you want to order the catering, why not run the test drive on it for lunch there?
The catering menu's on our website as well, so I mean, you can find it. We'll get it to you.
Staple since 1958. It's Dearman's. You know where to find it. It's the Bocage Shopping Center, corner of Old Hammond and Jefferson Highway. Guys, I can't thank y'all enough for coming in today. Perfection as always. Y'all know what you're doing. All right, Moon's next. We're out of here. We'll be back at it on Monday. Y'all make sure you go out and vote tomorrow. I know both LSU and Southern have home games. Find a polling place before or after.
That went well.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank
it did. All right, Facebook. We're gonna bounce out of here. Look, y'all know I've been raving all week long about looking forward to this. So, go see Dearman's. Get in there this weekend. We'll see y'all later.